An abrupt ending. Hey, Birdie Wooster, do you hear that music? That beautiful music from École Cinéma, Centre National et International de Musique et Accordéon. Jacques Mornay. That is the great Claude Saumain, who is a very famous composer who passed away, I believe, a couple years ago, sadly. Um, and this is an example of what they do at cinema. I think this opening, well, first of all, the orchestra sounds great, and accordion orchestras are, I think, very notoriously challenging to make sound great. And but let's listen to the opening, which is performed by a soloist, and the camera person, obviously the soloist is not their friend because they're not pointing at the soloist. I believe the soloist is the accordionist with a bob haircut furthest to the left. That's my guess. But I'm open to adjustments if you guys see other things. All right, let's check this out. Wait, does this? I guess that's the beginning. Sorry. That is just honestly arresting. I mean, it is so beautiful. Hey, Roland Garb, how you doing? Um, but that is so musically not pyrotechnic, and yet just it is so arresting and so full of emotion. So extremely expertly played by somebody who seems newer, this seems like a younger person performing this. And this is what you see over at cinema in France all day every day. I mean, that is how they teach you to play, just like that. Amazing. It's undoubtedly the ideas, the air, the touch, the a shaping of phrases with dynamics, the different articulations. You hear a lot of Lou-Ray in there. And it is just exquisite, absolutely exquisite. I was not expecting to hear that, really. So let's see. Let's listen to some other stuff before we get going. My name is Dallas Vietty, and this is my weekly accordion live stream. The format varies. It's generally me talking sometimes, and it used to be mostly watching together videos. Lately, I've been doing more kind of lecture-y type stuff, and I'm just kind of following my vibe. I'm trying to make this fun and comfortable and interesting for me, and so the more I can kind of react to my moment, the more I have freedom to do that, the better. So today we're going to listen to a little bit of music because I want to, and then I'm going to kind of get into talking about the subject of the topic or the kind of framing for today. And before all that, I want to show you what I've been working on and explorations and stuff. So here, let's go to YouTube together here. These are my subscriptions for my Rising Reed accordion channel. Yeah. Okay, this is what I wanted. I want this. Okay, I saw this. Okay, Anatole Muster, and he is unbelievable. So we won't watch all this today, but we should watch all of it cumulatively. Let's see. Laptop solo. I've never missed a plane. Girl in My Dreams, Breathalyzer solo, Auntie Mabel. Let's listen that much. We'll listen through Auntie Mabel if it makes sense to stop there. Okay, here we go. Y'all seeing that? We are. Yes, we are. Okay, Anatole. All right, so Anatole is like the hottest, coolest shit out there. If you're into sort of new jazz music, instrumental, shredding, and accordion. I mean, this dude is definitely moving us forward. Okay, so on a button accordion, which is probably like the easiest way to play that, that would be unbelievably sick, like on an actual accordion. He's doing it on a laptop turned sideways that he mapped the MIDI notes to. Oh my gosh, that is ridiculous. He had like viral like TikTok stuff and like shorts from that too. You may have seen them. Anyway, so he's touring. Got to find out. Like, that's everyone's assignment, is to try to see Anatole Muster touring wherever he is. Maybe I'll look it up his website. Dude. Dang. I missed him in Philly. These have all passed. So this, to me, it looks like an acoustic accordion that is only just being affected. He's not playing MIDI like triggers or anything. Sick. So it looks like he has a harmonic mic system, and I love that he had them install the blue LED like right in the center of that. I think is that a Bugari, you guys? I don't know if you can see that coming through on your side. Let's see. I'll ditch the chat. Anyways, it's very cool. The blue. So yeah, face melting. Okay, now I get to show what I'm doing, which is like compared to what Anatol's up to. What a cool thing. What's up, Nomad Farmer? Okay, so plug in the accordion. The accordion is here. Let's plug it in. So, okay. Channel is muted, I think, and if it's not, we'll find out. Okay, here's hoping to no popping, no crackling, no popping from that jack. Now, no. All right. I'm not going to even attempt. The word jack makes me think of Joe Biden. Oh boy. No, no crackle and pop, Jack. Okay. Hey, that's amazing, Nomad Farmer. Well, I'm happy to promote that. So Nomad Farmer says they're so stoked. Their current band's first album finally dropped on all the streaming places. Well, Nomad Farmer, if you want to share it and we can listen to it on the stream, just throw the link in or tell me how to find it on YouTube. Sorry, dealing with my hair, folks. It's a real thing. And we got headphones too. All right, so let's make sure that I have a sound. Unmute that. Nah, we don't hear that. It's because I still don't hear it. So something's up. One moment. Oh, that might be it. There we go. Okay, we're gonna have issues with the jack. I can tell. All right. Okay. Oh my god, what was that? Ah, it's the jack. You guys, this is okay. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay. All right, hang on. This is terrible. Oh, anybody that works in audio or professional music wants to strangle me right now. Look, I'm just trying to do my things, people. Okay. All right. Try this one more time. I see the blue. We will do that. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, yeah. Okay, so here's what I've been doing. So, just today, this morning. Okay, we got the answer from No More Farmer. Cool. After I'm done with this, we'll check out your record, man. That's so cool. Okay. So what I have been doing is, really just today. So last night I had a friend. Yesterday evening I had a friend come over who's a drummer, an old friend from out here in the desert, and we played together, and that was great. And I have played just duo with a drummer before, my friend, and that's cool. It's so challenging. It's really, really challenging. And guess what? It highlights your time and your left hand quite a bit. And I've been working on this is like my Stradelification this last year. How Stradella got her groove back. Oh, there we go. Okay, and drink. How Stradella got her groove back. Come on. That's great. I'm waiting for Birdie Wooster to acknowledge this joke. Okay. And I think the sound is. I wonder if there's an effect on there. I don't know. I got a reaction from Birdie Wooster. I can move on with my life. Okay, and I think if I don't move too much, okay, so basically I'm like, all right, it's that wonderful feeling which has gotten so much more comfortable for me as I've gotten older, more experience, etc. The good things that happen to you in your psyche as you age, as you get experience in life, life experiences, which is that the great feeling of like, ooh, I kind of suck, but it's like very, very motivating. So it's like the suck is like, maybe, my therapist might say, you could use different words to talk to yourself than that, but it's a very mild, mild connotation. So I feel very motivated. So I woke up today and I did some stuff. I did my things. I was like, okay, well, need to warm up for the stream. I'm gonna shed some. And at first, I returned to these exercises that I have been doing that I was showing in the accordion yoga class yesterday, which are about depressing the buttons or piano keys all the way, and then controlling the release with the relaxation through the relaxation. It's very, very cool. And I started on that. I was like, nope, like my inner, like kind of like the urgency sense, my spider sense or whatever. Just really based on the jam, I was like, you need to work on your left hand and your groove and all that sort of stuff. So I was thinking like, okay, I was like just playing and listening, and what I kind of deduced in my playing is that just the time is there. Oh, I know. Okay, so here's another way that I kind of got to this is I noticed that like there's so many subtleties. Now, this friend is a wonderful drummer, and he just hasn't played the exact music. I think that he certainly has never played with an accordion player duo before, let alone these tunes. I did tons of French waltzes and like swing stuff, mostly some Brazilian Balkan stuff. And I was like, one of the big things I immediately noticed was like, okay, for this gig, the subtlety is getting lost. A lot of these subtleties that are that are learned from cinema, that are so delicate and involve it occurred to me like, they involve space and acknowledgement of what it's supposed to sound like. That acknowledgement can get better, like an understanding from the drummer, like what the sound is supposed to be like, is going to help more of the subtleties come out. But I think just by the very nature of playing with another instrument, and specifically a drummer, a good amount of these subtleties, at least auditorially, are not there anymore. And that's interesting. And the other thing is that there were a lot of things that I found that this kind of playing needs that I wasn't trying to do and think about. And a lot of that is the ability to get more kinds of subdivisions and activity in the left hand and the right hand, both hands, really, to kind of rhythmically create groove and space with independence for my right hand. I have been working on that, but to do it with somebody else and just a drummer, like where it's like all I can do is lock in with him. It's not even about like, it's just laid bare. It's not like, oh, our notes clashed or anything like that. It's just like, oh, dude, it's the time, the groove. So it's a wonderful thing. And so I constructed this sort of exercise today that I'm digging, and it's a progressive exercise. It's like a cycle, and I'll show you. And a nice example tune that I've been using a lot is Mon Amant de Saint Jean. the melody. And I use that because like it's like I dig the melodies. So probably if you're French, you're like it's like hearing when the Saints go marching in. You're like I could never hear that tune again. But I don't have that association with it. And it's just like it's pretty. There's a lot of stuff that I could work on the tune, or I could play it super simple. And because the melody moves enough but not too much, I can really work on all of the touch and stuff like that. So it's been an example tune. So what I've been doing today that I'm going to continue to do is basically just playing hands together, super simple, the melody. Man, it's having trouble focusing. I apologize about the camera. Playing hands together and creating more subdivisions in the left hand. So for example, I'm going down two trees. One is duple, which means eighth notes and 16th notes. And the other one is tuple, which means like a swing, like a first and third of the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's my first one. And then all three triplet subdivisions is my second one. Maybe I should go 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. But I just thought of that. Anyways, so it's like this. So if I was doing the double, right? So that's like two, like straight eighth notes essentially. It would be 2 bass notes, 2 chord notes, and another 2 chord notes. So instead of it's okay. So I'll play. I won't play the whole tune. It'll take too long for all the possibilities, but I'll play some. I messed that up. Okay, so that's the first section. And on some of those, I know at least one, probably more than that. Instead of playing 2 bass notes, I played 1 bass note like that. But that's not what I want to do. I want to just double it. Okay, so I do that through the melody, and then I'll do 16th notes, which gets a little gnarly. Okay. So that would be, I have to really slow down the tempo when I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I do it on the first section. Anyway, you get the idea. It's kind of gnarly. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to get lost in the repetitions, where in those big repetitions. But I did it for a ton this morning, and it really helped. So I do that like duple side of it through the tune, and then I do a tuple. So it's so. And then I do all of the subdivisions of the tuple. So 1, 2, 3. I should have come in, sorry. Ah. Okay. And then I finished by just playing the tune. Because I think this is what works really well for me, is doing this iterative cycle, like this progressive cycle of things. This is always how I work and have for a long time now, and it works. And a new kind of understanding of the cycle is that after I've completed the little exercises, the etudes, like I just showed you for the repetitions, then I just try to play and either like utilize the thing, try to utilize the thing I'm working on, or just either like if it's vocabulary, actually try to do it. In this case, I'm not trying to like use these yet as patterns. I'm just trying to clean up my overall quarter note pattern, although that is on the on the list of things I do. So anyway, I'm just gonna play. Okay. And it did. It felt tight. It felt tighter there. Let's see. Yeah, that's still getting a signal, right? Do. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Birdie has a great comment here. Says, this reminds me of lifting weights, where they talk about the muscle confusion using a lot of variety, but for the brain. That's exactly the way I think about it, Birdie. Me too. Yeah, exactly like that. Cool. So let's see. I had a company over the weekend, so I didn't get a chance to continue shedding the Lullaby of Birdland, but I'm gonna get back to it now that I have a little bit of time. I'm gonna be flying back pretty soon to go to Django in June, and teach there, and that'll be really cool. And I might be doing like a last minute tour of Texas at the end of this month. I need to wait for final details, but it seems like it's possible. I'll update you guys. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else. I think the only other thing is just that I'm trying to work with, for the first time ever, the master register a lot more on the left hand. So when I'm playing waltzes now, like French waltzes, I'm always using the master register, and I'm really like into trying to get it to do its thing, which is like, it's like, it's got a big boom and like these nice like nasty chops, and use the two middle, the drive two middle on top. So it's very cool. I love it. Lots of attitude. And then also I'm trying to get a similar kind of aggressive, funky, groovy attitude kind of thing out of the master switch on oompa, but on a swing feel. So, all right. Oh. So, like, kind of on this song. Sorry, guys. Okay, so trying to use the air and the touch. So for that stuff, and this is like how I'm going to sort of dovetail into talking about the subject for today. This has such a degree of assertiveness and attitude for me. Like that's my perspective, and I think that you hear it. You know, it comes through. Even more so if you were here in person. Just because, you know, going through the internet kind of flattens some things. They compress the sound and kind of normalize it and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah. So I've been working on that with the swing left hand kind of thing, and then, you know, kind of channeling these like the kind of things that maybe sound kind of sort of like some chord progressions or changes that we hear in some of the Romanian music that we listen to. Not exactly, but ish. Like diminish going to diminish. This one is really fun. I like this one. We were in a very simple, just it's like you go the major 6 diminished, the major 7 diminished, and then the 1. It's such a great sound. Yeah, very cool. So there's just kind of like different ways to move harmonically, so kind of substitutions and stuff that work that way. And then I'm doing the repetitions, the note repetitions on that stuff. Okay, so yeah, so transitioning into today's topic. Let's see. Let me read it verbatim. Was a little bit of a wordy title. Okay, so today's topic is energy, verve, and passion in Django and Gypsy Jazz music. And this is kind of on our road to Django in June. And I thought that this is a good thing to talk about sort of independently. You know, I thought, okay, weave it in, but it's kind of it definitely is the summation of everything that we have been talking about on this stream, you know, or whatever. It's not the end point, but it's just like it is I should say it's a collection. it's all the same stuff, you guys. You know what I mean? It's like playing with an emotional certainty, which just means presentness. That's all it means. And we can learn presentness like we can learn musicality. You know, it's like to learn to do musicality is sort of like to learn to do a physical gesture, right? That means like whatever thing makes the notes get louder and then softer, we do that, and like the timing and then the articulation. So that's like physical stuff that one could program into a not a human being, a robot or whatever. Like you could, those are quantifiable things. So it's pretty much, you know, and that's like my perspective for teaching is like we have to quantify things and talk about things definitively. And I don't know, when I think about like how I teach differently, or like when it's so natural to me now, but like when I was more earlier in my teaching, I would think like, man, I had so many teachers that were just kind of like, man, you just got to feel it and da da da. Like, and what really I needed is very practical things. So anyway, like what we're talking about is like playing a certain way, right? With a certain technique, lots of bellowing and good touch and all that sort of stuff. But I just realized I forgot about Nomad Farmers Band. We're gonna get to that that'll be a little break. But the other part of it is like being emotionally connected, like present in the thing, you know, like, so we're gonna look at like musicians like doing their thing, and it's not always apparent, like based on their face. Like there are, you know, musicians are such a thing, and we don't really we get taught how to how to touch the instrument. We don't really get taught how to use our face. So I don't want to say we're going to look at the accordion players and tell that they're like emotionally feeling it, but because their face might not express that, and that's fine. Like I myself have experienced being super into it, but then my face looks all weird, like not like I'm feeling. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is like we need to feel the feeling, and then we need to make the feeling happen in the body. And when we're on stage, we're just doing, or when we are in a moment of performing, like I can just be in a moment of performing right now for you guys, and I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. I'm just trying to be with the music. That's it. I'm not second guessing anything. I'm certainly not trying to stop. And I'm sort of not trying to prescribe myself to do too many new things. I want to sort of just be with my nervous system reflexes, the language that I already know for the most part. I try not to reach out of that too much. That would be a difference, right? And then not stopping, and then just trying to be super emotionally connected to the feeling, like to try to create feeling changes and stuff in the music, right? So we're with it. So I'm just like setting the parameters. I know I'm kind of rambling, and this is a little bit boring, but just like different feelings. So if I'm playing that by Mir Bis Duchesne, right? Like if I'm playing by Mir Bis Duchesne, I would play it up there. Let me play it here so you guys can see it, and I don't have to do crazy things with the camera. So if right, I'm not really kind of feeling anything. I'm not invested. I'm not present. I'm not trying to do a thing. I'm not trying to, let's do it. You know, I think, okay, this can be conveyed through metaphors, right? I guess anything can, but pardon me if these metaphors are annoying. But it's like, okay, you're at bat. You have a baseball bat in your hands. You're at home plate. And the pitcher is pitching to you. And like, you have to swing with all the certainty and all the things. You have to be, you gotta swing to get the hit that you're looking for, you know, whatever that is. I think that's a wonderful metaphor for it. You know, it's like the ball will push your bat away if you're not certain enough. You know, it's like you have to, the physical standing is an expression of an emotional characteristic that like the person, the batter, in this case, like an athlete has, right? And so it is a motion with an emotion behind it. And that emotion is different than the kind of emotion that we have in music in some ways. You know, it's like, at least for me, my experience, but it's similar. You know, it's like a certain movement, a movement with certainty, and a certain with the emotion and dedication to that emotion below it. So in this music especially, like I can think of counterexamples like Bill Evans and stuff. He plays with certainty, but there's a certain period of his music I think is characterized by more sort of floatiness and non-definition. And that's wonderful music that is extremely valid and some of the best music ever made, but it's not the same vibe as Django's music, the music of jazz manouche, gypsy jazz. So, you know, that was an example. This would not be good jazz manouche, but if I just take the same tempo and I feel like feisty, I feel more assertive for me. Put a little attitude in there. Right? Romantic. I don't know that that's romantic. I don't know that the tune can be romantic, but a different feeling, right? Say it's rubato. It's like a rubato, not a doina, but like a rubato minor thing. What I want to. So I'm relying on some of my fast finger stuff, which is not really fair. To like kind of it's not that it's not fair. It might be distracting. My point is that like if I'm playing up tempo, it's got to have spice and dedication and feistiness, and I am feeling those things. Like I like the way it sounds, and if I don't like the way it sounds, I'm trying to make it in a way that I like the way it sounds. You know, this is a great like kind of a milestone, I think, to overcome maybe in one's journey. But the idea that you like the way you play, that you play things and you go, like it's like the equivalent of making food for yourself and eating your own food and going like, dang, that's good food. I make good food. It's the equivalent of that, you know, like you, one, me, for me, you for you. The only measure of correct or incorrect, you know, and am I doing the thing that I'm hoping to do? Is does it sound like you? That's it. That's it. Does it sound like you? Right? Does this sound like me? And it's like you just the correct interpretation of you, you know, like the way you would play this tune, the way for me, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm playing like in this case, this like very old swing pop song, you know, from like what the Yiddish theater and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, in many ways, it's not like me, but like when I play it, yeah, I hear myself. There's many things that I like about it, and that's me being with it and bringing the energy to it. And I'm gonna get very practical and connect this to very practical ideas, not just because like right now it's just like the opening of a self-help book where just like yeah, I know all this stuff. Let's get practical. Show me specifically things and exercises and stuff like that, which I'm definitely going to do. But before I do that, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to dig on a friend of the show and regular viewer of the show, Nomad Farmer. And Nomad Farmer just released their first record. This is really exciting. So let's dig on it. Okay, so I gotta go to over here, and okay, so we're gonna look up Amateur Rodeo and Stubborn Man. Let's do it. One hand typing. Here we go.
You always tie me up in knots, hun. It's how you move and what you say, and the times that you forgot. Whatever helps you stay away.
We got
And I think I must be seeing something isn't really there. Step up close and then you're leaving. Got me wondering if you care. When I'm with you, I'm just wishing that you'd reach out for my hand.
It's over the
You
lyrics.
know you got my permission. I know you're a stubborn man. And I know you need your time, dear. And I know that I need mine. Honey, don't you think that 5 years is just a bit far down the line? And the more I talk to Jesus, more I think I understand how he counsels and he frees us from our prisons and our plans. When I'm with you, I'm just wishing that you'll reach out for my hand. You know you got my permission. I know you're a stubborn man. And I prayed and I have bargained. Ask the Lord to set me free. But the fire that I'm harboring is in the stubborn part of me. When I'm with you, I'm just wishing that you'd reach out for my hand. You know you got my permission. I know you're a stubborn man.
Yes. Fantastic. Bravo. All right, we're going to follow you guys. I have now subscribed. I recommend to the listening audience out there, support Nomad Farmer and their band, the Amateur Rodeo. Let me scroll down because it's covered by my name. Or I wonder if I can move my name. It's a good moment. Design. No, that's wait, maybe I can. Names. Alignment. Here? No, it doesn't do it. Okay. Regardless. Yeah, that's awesome. So wait, I was gonna do a thing. There we go. This is how you find them. Google that. Follow that. Listen to that on streaming. That's so awesome. I love this. The community thrives, is thriving. You guys are thriving, and I get to hang out with you, and vice versa. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, some of these I can resize the screen. Comments are getting hidden by other things. There we go. Okay, yeah. So yeah, tons of support for you, Nomad Farmer. Absolutely, people loving it. How cool! All right, so we're gonna return to today's subject, which is expression. So what was I pulling up? I was trying to search something. Oh yeah. Okay. So just to get back to like expression. So like I think the what is the point of even like sharing this topic? It's like, well, is this not just synonymous with playing well? And yeah, I suppose so, but you could say that about every single thing, anything that I talk about or anyone that one talks about could be just, kind of lumped in for that. So I'm qualifying your objections if you have them. It's the idea that like there is a vibe and an energy that I'm after, and I'm gonna try to get there, And so let's see. I don't know. Can we think of like more metaphors? So I'm trying to think of a metaphor of like learning to crawl before you walk, before you run, but that's not really an artistic expression. But like where it becomes really challenging is for people who are new to a genre, say, in this case, jazz manouche, swing, Django music, trad jazz, and they're so new that they lack the skill set. This may describe some aspects of this may describe you, and it describes me in other genres. I lack the actual nervous system skills maybe that are needed. I lack the knowledge to know that I'm playing the right thing. I lack, maybe theoretical knowledge, like maybe lacking like a perspective. Like, so maybe I haven't listened to a ton of jazz manouche before, say the genre, whatever genre we're imagining. That we're working on, right? So there are all these very practical reasons why we feel uncertain and why we wouldn't play with certainty, right? And I think what I'm trying to describe is like look for that certainty, that dedication, and commitment and assertiveness in your style. Listen for that in your style, and ask yourself if that's going on in your playing. So like a ballad. Let me put on the shoot. Sorry about that. That's halfway through the form anyways. So I'm let me play. So that's me not trying to feel a groove, not trying to feel like. And so what am I trying to feel there? I'm trying to feel romance, and to me it reminds me of like a 40s slow dance, between a couple, a romantic couple, or couple dancing romantically. And that's the feel that I'm going for, and that is playing for a way that has like swagger and charisma and a good feeling to like help them move around the floor. And this like, I'm going for like warm and like romantic in the capital R sense. I'm trying to pull it and make it smoky. And if I wanted to get more dramatic about the beginning. Right? I'm trying to make these tensions romantic, happy, sad feeling, like whatever that is, however that's romantic, right? It is, or I'm trying to make it. And I'm with it, and I'm giving like 100% to that, to creating that vibe and that ambiance, and if I'm playing a musette waltz, there's a certain amount of like elegance. I think there's a certain amount of elegance and some other word that I don't know yet, but that I find and sounds right sometimes in the musette waltz is one feeling. And that was a little staid. Like I felt like it was a little hesitant. It didn't have the normal thing. But I was trying to sort of capture and share this little this quality that I find that is like, I can imagine a certain, like, the feeling of the music is there's something sort of, again, elegant. I can't think of a better word than that to it, but I'm trying to feel that. I'm trying to gesture, and I'm trying to move. Again, I'm thinking of like dancing. Right, so I'm putting my whole self into there to try to play as well as I can and make the biggest feeling, which is the right feeling there. I'm lacking words on that. And the thing, that is like that I'm connecting, that I think we can, in our practice, I think we can do mechanical work. Right, if my left hand is mechanical work and my right hand is feeling, like it's like those two, like the Adam and God on the Sistine Chapel, that thing, as like the connection of those two is what we're after. But I think that we can work mechanically without that, so long as that's part of our like thing, Like we're trying to connect the emotional to the mechanical. And the mechanical is like sort of pretty obvious if you think about it, especially based on the ideas that I've shared. Now, it wasn't this is obvious to me before I met certain teachers in a certain nation that speaks French. But the idea is that, like, if we have a big, bold feeling, we're going to attack, maybe with bold or assertive air, and our finger might move in a bold or an assertive way. And maybe the quality of assertiveness is expressed by more, I'm pointing to my mouth, by more plosives, more ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. The attacks are happening very fast. So imagine that this is, there's a piano key in between my fingers. And, right? So like you're pressing quickly, fast, ding, da, 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 right? And that allows air to just suddenly sort of explode because we control these little doors, and the doors move ta 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 ta, with a lot of air over here. Even if it's a longer note, if I can play in a way, I don't have my Lou-Ray touched together, so I'm not going to say I'm playing Lou-Ray there. I'm not exactly. But I'm trying to go for something like that, which is where it's a longer note. But there's a very, very quick end to the note before we start the next one, as opposed to legato. So if I wanted to play something similar and I wanted it to not be so assertive, or maybe assertive isn't the word, but declarative, maybe less declarative, and I'm telling you this, and ta 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 ta, and maybe more, dude, language is failing me. Forgive me for these terms because I haven't really thought about this stuff before, and it's like next time I talk about it, I might use different terms. But basically, what I'm just trying to show is like to soften the sound, right? When we need a softer sound, which could be happy soft or sad soft, angry soft, confident soft, scared soft, surprised soft, disgusted soft. Like anything can be soft or loud. But a quiet happy and a loud happy feel differently, right? They're both happy, but they're valid feelings. So let's just say soft, right? So there I have maybe less bellows pressure, but it doesn't have to be that way. I could do loud also. I'm just like noodling around. And what I'm doing now is, instead of depressing rapidly, like mechanically, how I'm getting my emotional feeling of like softened things, like if I was going to tell you a really, really harsh criticism, but I was going to do it softly, like, right? Like we can deliver any information we want, like any emotional information, but we do have kind of like bigs and smalls and different styles of it, like really blah, or like, maybe I'm kind of, and I don't have words that I feel like are comfortable that I can think of that are accurate. But if anybody listening does, throw them in the chat. But so what I'm doing, the difference is I'm not making the attack fast, right? Like, so the attack would be, what the attack is my finger when it starts depressing the piano key or the button, right? So if I have a fast attack on air, I get that sound. If I have a slower attack, I get that sound, right? 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Sorry, next finger. 1, 2. Or 1, 2. Do you understand a difference, right? Do you understand a difference? And you can extrapolate on that. And I think like my big puzzle as an autodidact, it's not, I give tons of credit to Joanna Darrow and her husband Stan Darrow, founder of Acme Accordion School. I learned a ton from them, and many other teachers. I'm not going to name all of them, but I still consider myself sort of an autodidact because the majority of my learning and my understanding of the accordion was not with a teacher, or tutelage, or tradition. That I wouldn't say that's the case anymore. I would say even though like time-wise, my amount of time on the accordion, the majority of it is self-taught or not, like just trying to figure it out based on listening and stuff, not through the tutelage of a technique or method or school. That like the way I play now is really trying to do the technique of Jacques Mornay, or use their movements as solutions to like the way I can get my aesthetic soul out of this instrument. So, but basically what I'm trying to say, where I'm trying to go without that ramble, I'm getting mad at myself for just rambling. Also the Dutch angle, sorry guys. There we go. So like what I'm just trying to say is that like I didn't figure this out. I absolutely did not. It took studying with the French teachers. I give them all the credit for this, but it's a problem that I knew I had. So I was like frustrated. I understood that my accordion sound was really harsh and aggressive and kind of like, I couldn't find a softness from my accordion that I heard in many other, musicians, especially the musicians that I loved, and like trying to copy or just being like, yeah. Anyways, so this really meeting the French teachers that I have met and studying with them over the years, they understand this and know this, and they have it like it's part of their pedagogy is to bring it up to you. And so like it's two things, it's two parts. Our emotional expression is two parts, and that's like in order to get deeper into this fun topic, we have to talk about like how do we make emotion happen, on the accordion. And like, so first of all, we need to be emotionally awake and alive and like be making contact with that. And it should be like a feeling that you have that is coming out in a musical way, right? Like, I think that you understand that. If you got the blues, let it come out in a sad, slow song or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, let it out that way. And then some other time you can go, cry into a pillow or in the arms of somebody that cares about you. But musically, get it to come out. That's the point. That's what we do. And like so much of what I feel is joy and happiness. I really do. And that's when I play swing, especially medium and upswing, especially medium swing. I'm usually feeling joy, and I try to feel joyful, even if there's other kind of flavors to it, like some more attitude. It's like fun to have like an aggressive feeling. For me, maybe this is not fun to you, but let's see. Yeah, let's go. Right, like that is a feeling that I have. It's like fun, and I don't know, it's like some quality, it's like vibing and grooving, and like then you're making all these cool sounds, and they're sounds that you like, but it is a feeling. That's an energy, and like that energy, like there's a little bit more aggression to that, like that I feel, or assertiveness. I would say aggression. Then when I play a Skylar, I gotta use bass piano. Hang on. Right, that I feel like super lovey-dovey and swinging and relaxed, and not totally relaxed, but yeah, it has this So, and it just feels pretty and happy and fun to me, and that's what I'm trying to do with it, right? Like that's how I understand the tune itself. Is like, let me get into the feeling of the tune. And so that's what we need to do. And for all of our music, and it just so happens that I chose the music that gets played in the style of Django and his contemporaries and those after him for this kind of a thing. It has, I think, a lot to do with like gesture and acting, and it's something that I've heard Jacques Mornet say at cinema in France, and he's comme le comédien. Comme means like, and the comedian doesn't mean comedian. That took me a minute to realize. In French, comedian means actor. And what it means is, it means like, if you think of like tragedy and comedy, it means the ability to express all the things, an actor. And that's what he means by it. And I believe I really understand what he means, which is that like there is a sort of artifice in learning to perform music. Because I remember like going like, oh man, I have to do it that much, like there was like kind of like a point at which I was sort of pushed or illuminated. I got to the point of understanding, and I couldn't do it at first, but is like that we have to really go big. You have to go way bigger with how you're feeling and what you're trying to do on the instrument than you think. And that means a kind of certainty rather. It means a certainty that you have. That would be like the feeling of starting a race. You're on the starting block and you got to go. You can't just like get off the block, the gun goes or whistle or whatever, and you just like start like walking. Everybody's going to blast past you. It's that like, here we go, like, I'm doing this. I'm giving it my all. And you really are kind of like, at 100% of being awake and alive and in the moment. I think that it's like that saying in the moment reminds me too that like all of these things bring us more presentness. And I was sort of thinking out this thing. So, but the more present we are in making our music, the more pleasure we get, and the less present we are, the more negative ideas propagate, and they stay, and they seem to be the accurate narrative for us. So really the solution is to be as present as possible. And I found that Jacques and Natalie's exercises and their way of going through music really does that, in addition to creating like such beautiful music. But that's probably why it does. They're sort of related. French. We got some French grammar going on in the chat. So okay. So what? So then like feeling comes from what in music, right? Where does the feeling come from? If you want to be emotional or esoteric about it or whatever, you can say it comes from the human being, and then you need to like go that way. And that's, I'm not selling an emotional method like for like, this is not psychology. This is just the admonition that like being emotionally present and emotionally expressive, like an actor is what we're after. This is theater. That's what it is. Like, this is an abstract thing, this music, it can feel natural. It can become its own language, right? But it is different than the feeling that I have when I'm actually, with another human being, right? Like, it's like, it is an artifice. There's an art to this, to channel this through. And that's what we're after. And then we're also about this mechanical stuff. So the mechanical stuff is so much, it is exactly related to the air that you're using and how you're using it, and then your touch. So if I, just to kind of like define things of interest, if I want a softer sort of thing, whatever that is, like a softer approach that's very expressive and feels maybe close or whatever, then I want a softer touch. I want a slightly slower attack and a slightly slower release, probably, right? So if I take, say, an E minor scale, that was too strong, right? Or say on a melody. And we haven't connected any sort of dynamics with that yet, but just for touch, right? The depression that I have. The other touch could be faster on and faster off. So we're not talking about the timing, the tempo, or anything. It's literally the way that my finger moves. And just in the same way, I could be like, hey, what's going on over there? Or, hey, what's going on over there? You know, like, it's the way that we're using the language, how we're speaking the language, which comes out of our fingers. So here, if I want, what was the first? Oh, the E minor scale. So let me put on the same register, 2 middle. So I'm going to do like a more assertive or aggressive or whatever. Versus. Right? Even if I play it soft, it still has that sort of that quality to it, you know, that declarative quality rather than that sort of softer quality. So the depression, right, matters. And other things, you know, we can have louder or softer, and we can have sort of more emphasis if I press down all the way, and less emphasis if I only press down a little bit. So in addition to, we're talking about touch and feeling. And so we talk about volume, you know, this can relate to the depth of the depression. So if I'm whispering to somebody, I'm going to whisper, and like my mouth is probably, I'm going to be close, right? Close to their ear. And why? Because I'm not making that much sound. And my mouth is going to be small. Why? Also because I'm not making that much sound. My mouth is going to be small. I'm not going to whisper like this. You know, that's like a joke. That is some sort of stupid kid show punchline or something, right? You don't do that. Why? Because opening our mouth, giant lets a lot of sound out. If I'm going to call for my dog that ran off the leash and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to open my mouth super wide, right? To get all the sound out. I'm going to press really hard with my diaphragm, which in this metaphor is our left arm. And I'm going to open my mouth wide so all of that air that I'm pushing can come out my mouth, right? It creates a larger space, so more air vibrates, so more sound, okay? So this relates, the mouth is the depth that we press and how that opens the doors. So if we only open the doors a little tiny bit, then we can whisper, you know? So if I'm trying to whisper, I need to probably, you know, not push with all my diaphragm power in my stomach, right? That wouldn't make sense. Although some diaphragm, because there's a quality to the sound. There is an aesthetic virtue that we're after, an aesthetic ideal, and that aesthetic ideal is this supported sound, right? Not all music has this as their bellows concept, and the sound of their art is not any less worthy. It's just a different technique makes it so it sounds different. Like, for example, Brazilian music, those Brazilian musicians are as freaking good as anybody in the world, you know, right? Like, you guys know, like, it's not, there isn't a better or worse thing, but their technique, right? They don't use the bellows. They don't have this French idea, and I don't know who else to attribute it to. I'm sure it belongs to other people. Is it Russian also? Is it Italian? I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's Italian, actually, listening to the way many Italians play. But anyways, this way of moving the air is, dude, I totally lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? We have the air, and then we can open. I do remember I was trying to talk about the distance that we're opening, right? So here. And how can I play that confidently? So if I want to play something mysterious, right? If I want to play What was the example tune? Okay, so if I wanted to play. Okay, something like that. That was a little under-supported to critique it. But I think I captured a mysterious quality-ish, you know. And there was more than the touch and the volume that created that. You know, it's more to do that. We need to create anticipation, I think, with the mystery, and playing away. And the rubato quality allowed me to do that, and kind of pausing on certain notes. But the other thing is, like, if I was to maybe I wanted a more declarative sort of thing. So after this one. Right, get back to the romantic thing, right? So if I played different phrases, so there I'm still trying to play with tons of intention and certainty of my feeling. I'm really trying to feel that way, which is all the things. It's literally an emotional feeling. I think it's literally sensations of movement, because I believe that rhythm in music is an extension of body movement for human beings. That's my perspective on it. It's sound. It's where the tensions of the melody, how I phrase, emphasize and de-emphasize and move through those melody, the way the melody, works, and how I exploit that to get the sound that I want. And which has to do with the timing, how long I'm staying on certain notes, because it's rubato, as well as the dynamics that I'm creating and the touch. So if we're playing minor swing, let's go through some of this canon, right? What should the vibe of minor swing? Right? That's how I would play it. I'd have a lot of air, because it's not like crazy aggro, but it's just like assertive. And the assertive sound for jazz manouche, which in a swing, when you have like kind of a medium or medium upswing, and inside of that, there are places in the melody to accent that I honestly have never thought about. I just try to match, it's like, well, how does the song go? Dim dum da beep to da. So the last note of that little arpeggio. Right? Those need to be accented, which we do with a little bit of air, and by making the end of the note short. I could play this romantic and it would be completely wrong. Right, that's not right. That's not it. And if I play without confidence, I want you to see my face. Right, and it's not it. So, And you'll see it in my arm too. Left arm, you can't see my arm itself, but you can see what it's doing on the bellow, right? So then I'm playing time. Let me get my whole body in here. Is that it? There, just a little bit. Maybe there. Okay. Oh no, I heard it. Sorry guys. Oh boy, come on, you can do it. No, you're doing so good. Ugh. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play time now on minor swing, which is the kind of the first tune you should learn. Okay. Okay. So how does it feel? You know, how do you guys think I'm feeling? What kind of vibe do you think I'm channeling from that? And I would, you know, if you're being genuine, I think you'd put something in the chat that was like, well, I'm kind of curious. I don't know if anyone's in front of the keyboard. What do you think I'm feeling there on that? Am I feeling fun and bouncy? Am I feeling kind of serious? Am I feeling romantic? Am I feeling aggressive, angry, free, silly, you know, any of those things? I was feeling like bouncy, but then there's this sort of quality of like, because it's minor and it's just a little bit on the front side, that there's like a little bit of assertiveness to it. You know, there's a little bit of aggression in a positive way, you know, in a friendly way. And then if I'm playing time, and so what does that come from? It comes from the way that I'm phrasing the notes, right? And it becomes, it really is as simple of an idea. Like the literal thing that we are doing is holding on to the bellows. You know, we're moving the bellows, creating a floor of pressure, and then creating these little variations before, you know, to shape the notes. And then we're pressing and releasing the piano keys and the buttons here. So on my left hand, the sound that I want is not, it's not right here. I'm trying to play like more legato. I'm trying to think of even if it was a little faster. I was starting to get back to that. I was trying to like make it faster, but like different than you would never play, in a way that you would never really play minor swing, not the vibe of minor swing. And so in order to do that, I'm playing like long. Right, it's legato, it's like longer sort of things, like I'm kind of channeling string. There's myriad ways to do that, but I'm not doing that. When I'm playing, I'm trying to get, I want punchy bass. I want that bass to be big, and I want my chords to have a snap and a bite and an attitude to them. So my right hand is my right hand pressing with a faster attack or a slower attack. So if I was or I'm on the wrong left hand switch. Right? That's how I'm on my right hand or that's an example, right? I could get more or less aggressive, but the touch is, I'm touching in a way that's like sort of similar to how I would maybe dance with somebody, you know, right? There's a partner, an invisible partner that I'm dancing with romantically. And that way of like being a lead, I'm the lead in this case, in this example. And however it is, however our hands are, and haven't danced in a while. That, like that, I don't know. Whatever. One hand around the person, the other hand touching their, let's say their hand. And I'm moving in a way, right, like this. That's how it feels versus minor swing or the by Mirabis Shane, something medium or faster, right? Okay, it's fast. So try to pick a fast tempo that's fast, and I'm definitely not happy with that and my speed or any tempo even faster. And where I'm trying to solve that is on the articulation of my right hand. So I'm making a new technique as of, I guess, slowly since the first time I met Jacques and Natalie, or even before that when I met Fred Deschamps, and he, you know, his way is always to play on the surface, or at least that was my understanding when I was there. And like I did that, but then I stopped doing it, and I really was not doing it in my right hand until. So anyway, I'm remaking this, and it's like I could play probably fast. I don't even know if I could. Certainly with my right hand alone, but no. So just that, I do a little bit better job of being clear in my right hand. But when I put it together with the left hand, it's the victim of two things. The thing that's most the victim of, I think, is just not lining up. Just that my nervous system just isn't lining up. And so if I was to take a similar tempo, yeah, It's just if I go slower. And that's right. Okay. Much easier at slower tempos, even if I'm double timing over it. But it's like so many events, hence wanting to do the shedding that I showed you guys. But again, the overall thing is having the right feeling for this music. And this music is always confident and assertive, even when it's sweet and soft, or sweet and sad, sweet and beautiful and full of love. It's full of confidence. It's almost never uncertain of itself, you know? And that is a I can only explain further just by demonstrating, you know, and just kind of framing. So we have a question from Roland. So a freaking excellent question, Roland. So Roland asks, does all of this discussion of touch also apply to electric accordions? And I can tell you the idea of the speed at which you're touching, I think does. The depth stuff, I don't believe that the digital accordion will do anything with the depth stuff. So if you were like the positives of the depth, playing with the different depth of touch, I think would only ever help you if you were to like sometimes play an acoustic accordion, and then you would be doing all that stuff. So I don't believe that carries forward. All the other stuff does. And the way to do it, right, is like, I don't need to, the way to do it for a Roland digital accordion or any other electric accordion, right, or any other instrument, is ultimately to be listening for the sound. And so if I'm playing a melody and it's not sounding right to me personally, I'm playing for myself and the melody doesn't sound right, I need to figure out what is not correct. And the lens, the theme of today is, the lens is like the emotional quality, and specifically mechanically the beginnings and ends of the notes, right? And the length in between as well. So the making a slower start. So I think I don't have a digital accordion here, and I don't own one to demonstrate with, but I can imagine that just listening on a digital accordion or an acoustic accordion, listening for the sound that you want, you know, or just even understanding, it's like, okay, have a palette, right? Have a continuum, say maybe a palette like of two things. On one end of it, it's very detached. On air, we always play with air. So I have air, and I'm making very, very detached, which would be staccato, would be the most detached. So if I play, maybe that does not sound right, you know, or it's not what we're used to, which is a lot of it, but also it doesn't contain the romantic feeling. So that articulation is not going to be correct, you know. So that one might be an initial critique that I might have when asking myself, like, what is wrong here? So it's like, okay, well, it's too short, so make it longer. Okay. Right. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, if I put that with the left hand, it's a little bit too legato, I think. Oh, sorry.
I think it's getting into pea soup or oatmeal. It's just like it's too much. We want some lifts in our notes. We don't want this unending value. We want enunciated things, even if they are romantic, and legato. So what I need to do is put some more inside. So like I'm trying to show too far. So in this example, which is how you guys can, if this info is cool, this is how I would suggest you kind of play around with it. Or here's a model. Take it, do the model, or make your own model for how things behave, right? But we are an artist. We need to have, the more we learn things, the more we generate our style. And our style needs to have a lot of variation. And that's kind of a number one critique that I can offer sort of consistently in people's playing, is like not enough variation in it, in all things. But let's talk about this. So my example started with, okay, this is too short, right, for this melody called Nuage, which is one of Django's most known, recognized melodies by people. And then this is too legato, not characteristic. But if I can be long, but still with a space, and still phrase maybe gently. So my touch is going to be sort of a gentle touch. Going to have a little legato in the, right? There, it's all dum ta ta dum. Right? I'm just kind of playing the chords that I'm playing under the melody. Da 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 da. Ba do. Di la dum. So it's in your touch, and you can only do touch if you have air, as far as I know. So, or I don't know. Actually, I don't want to make that statement, but the way I do touch is to have a cushion of air, right? So a cushion, it's like an inflated thing. It's like, think of like a bounce house. Somebody I know calls it a marshmallow, like a spongy, bouncy thing. And we make that with the bellows, and that creates a spongy, bouncy piano keys and bass buttons. That's our cushion of air. We make the cushion of air here, and then we can create gentle or assertive let's see. I'm trying to think of other melodies. Sloppy and left hand. Shit, up here. Now they like to go to a half diminished. I don't know. I didn't used to like it, but now my brain wants to hear. Trying to get some fills in there. That's another ballad that I would say this ballad has more pathos in it. So it's slow, but it's minor, and there's like half diminished, and just the melody and the harmony and stuff is a little bit more, it's got some more daggers in it, you know. And so I would play that with probably more more attitude, which literally mechanically comes out as more faster. Very declarative, right? This is a little too low here. Let me do two middle. It won't sound right. No, it's gonna be too loud. Ah. Sorry. Sorry. This is like somebody did this reharm. I don't know which famous musician started it, but it gets played all the way, always like that, even though it's not the way Django played it. He just played a D7. So more, which means air, an attack on the air. And then maybe contrast it. Yeah, okay. So let's see some other tunes. I can't give you anything but love or coquette. Coquette. We're gonna lower this so that you can get the top of the keyboard in there. Hey, okay, there we go. It's good. Okay, so coquette. Right? That's how I would play it. 1, 2, 1. Okay, getting a little clunked up there. This lower on the keyboard, the headphone thing is right on top of it. It's all tangled up. Anyways, so like what is that? You know, how does that feel? That feels like bouncy and fun and syncopated and trying to be kind of fancy. Like for that one, I'm trying to feel a little fancy. Like as if I was dancing, I'd try to be like doing some fancy movements in there, but still in time, you know? Other kind of feelings. What are some of the other tunes? And I don't like to do that. I'm becoming so specific about these two switches. Like if I'm playing oompa and swing, I want the master switch, but I do not want that if I'm doing the 4 on the floor Frank Morocco. I don't think I want that yet, at least at this moment. But then if I'm doing the 4 on the floor of Frank Morocco, I gotta have shoot, messing it up. Anyways, so what was I doing? I was gonna do yeah. Okay, Dark Eyes with this. Okay. So if I was to use a different articulation that might be wrong, it might be too much legato. Okay. That was me trying to be as legato as I can. Now I gotta play a little bit normal. Shoot. Okay. Sorry for all that sound. I'm one of those. So yeah, so the articulation, and you know, this is about the energy of it. So the energy of it. So I'm trying to be assertive. I'm trying to. Okay, so let's talk about assertive, like kind of assertive feeling. Oh, we're coming up to the end. This is lovely. Okay, great. So, are there any tunes that are there any tunes that you guys are thinking of? I wonder. I'm trying to play like common ones. Django. See, now I need to move back. If I'm going to play like that, I got to move the bass piano in the left hand. Cool. Okay, great. So that's Sweet Georgia Brown. No. Honeysuckle Rose. Duh. Right? So there, my touch is pretty fast. It's not as fast as we. It's not that, but it's swing. So a fairly assertive touch, but still like on the surface if I can be. Okay, getting into just this cool moving. So good. I'm so into all this stuff. I watched that Dick Hyman 100 Years of Jazz Piano, and that is really cool. I didn't do it all in one sitting because it's long. It's like multiple hours long. But this guy Dick Hyman, who has a wild name, but he can play in all of these styles of the great pianists. He's like the total amazing musician, and it's just him and like not a wonderful recording technology, but it's just him at the piano, and he's just talking and telling you, oh, Fats Waller, see, Fats did this, and here's some of the things, and these, you know, or Art Tatum played this way, McCoy Tyner, and it's very cool. And I've just been getting into these passing chords. Which I'm not playing correctly, but and it's all like the stride moving stuff, but they do it intense. Anyway, okay. So, Je tendrai is Christian Gregory said Je tendrai. Okay. Je tendrai. So a singer would sing this pretty romantically, but usually violin and guitar. Yeah. So that's how I hear it. If I'm playing Je tendrai, but that's just a tempo for it. Cool, Christian. Okay, thank you, Christian, or Christian. I don't know. If you're French, it's Christian. If you're American, if your English pronunciation might be, well, who knows, man. Anyways, I'm gonna call you Christian because I know one. I know a couple. So that one, it really depends on the tempo, and that one can be played at multiple tempos. So it's like, okay, I need to have the ability to do it. And this is stuff that we're all doing, but we're just kind of looking at it deeper and more analytically to say, like, what exactly mechanically movement here is creating the different style and sound, And then how can I not only understand that, but play in a way that's more certain and assertive, that has this passion. Did I hit the right? I think that I messed up the form, but anyway, there I am trying to play the tune more romantic, more romantic. And for me, a lot of what's going to happen just artistically is coming from this 4 on the floor thing, which I realize for me, I'm starting to see how it really grounds it to a 1940s sound, especially with all the block chords that I'm playing in the right hand. The two of those together gives it a really, really 1940s sound, which is a great thing, not a bad thing, but it's just one thing. So as we say, like, everything that we can do is an expression, right? So like pretty much nothing we're doing itself is wrong. It's just sort of in the wrong context. So if this is maybe a little too simple and accepting, to be helpful, but it's useful at a higher level. For a beginner, it's useless to say that's the right thing. You're just doing it at the wrong time, like if they're learning about whole notes and they keep playing quarter notes because their nervous system, they're not connected to the idea of whatever. It's not useful for them to hear that idea because they're like, well, I don't have any vocabulary, so it doesn't matter. But when we're developing a vocabulary, and even if like the tunes that you're working on, even if you're newer to this music and you're reading the songs and you're fresh in your pursuit of this art, think about variety of sounds, and work to be emotionally connected to the feeling that you have. So when you're playing in the pocket, that feels like this very like dribbling the ball accurately, shooting the ball in the hole. Every beat that I play, right? Everything that I play, blowing it. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is play in a way that is emotionally connected to you, and that what you're doing is you're not doing anything differently. You're not working on the song any differently at all. You're not moving toward a different aim. You're simply going deeper. So in addition, let's say you're trying to line your nervous system up, right? You want to line your nervous system up on a way that's feeling like it has the right feeling. Right? If it's something like that, you are connecting feeling to what you're playing, and you want to know the biofeedback, the information that you're getting, your experiments, that your hypothesis. You have your hypothesis, then you conduct the experiment, which is playing, and then you analyze the results. And the results are the music that your accordion makes. And you listen to that, and you go, that had the right feeling. Yes, I'm doing it. Amazing. Or it didn't quite have the right feeling. What do I need to do different? Is it too assertive, too harsh, too much attack, too declarative? It needs to be more gentle, or vice versa, right? Or whatever. But search for the sound and the feeling in the sound and the correctness in the sound. And then mechanically, that's how you're pressing. It's your touch, the length of your notes, in addition, of course, to the time. Okay, how much fun. That takes us to a little bit after 2 o'clock, and that's where I'm going to end for today, because this live stream brought to you by me, Dallas Vietty, and my online accordion school, Rising Reed. We're going to end. We always do 2 hours, unless I get really on a roll. If you enjoyed this stuff, go to the website, risingreed.com, which is where my name is. Let's see. Voila. Go there, sign up for my $20 a month subscription thing, and you can come every week to these really cool accordion yoga classes that are mostly happening on Mondays, unless I got something else to do on Monday. Then I move it to a Thursday. But the class recordings are posted, and there's simple little homework and a cool community of people that are doing it. And this is for all levels, working through this stuff with an emphasis on relaxation in the body, being gentle, being strong, but relaxed and control, not just feeling better and better, letting nothing that we're doing make our bodies feel worse, but actually better. So it's like healing through getting better at music is kind of the deal. I probably shouldn't say that. That's probably like the FDA could shut me down. There's no healing, just helping you with music. But I think it makes our bodies feel better. Mine does. It's cool. Anyways, what a joy. Yeah, good everything to everybody. Be well, be safe, be happy, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday live from Django and June on the College of Smith campus in Central Massachusetts. And I'm going to try to sequester friends old and new to come stop by and talk about Django and June and hang out, and maybe we'll play some tunes and stuff. I think it's going to be really fun. That's all I got to say. Congratulations, Nomad Farmer, on the release of the new record, and see everybody next week.